All right, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite podcast.
Gettin with Griffin, yeah.
Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Riffin with Griffin.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Riffin with Griffin.
What's up, y'all? Back again, back at it. Riffin with Griffin is here for you. I got a nice, fun, light episode this week. Just with everything going on in the world, racial unrest, all this stuff that's going on. I just got a fun, nice episode with my good buddy, Mr. Ron Funches is on the episode this week, everybody. Mr. Ron Funches. All right, no more music. But again, I want to say thanks for listening to Riffin with Griffin. Thanks for watching Riffin with Griffin. Thanks for subscribing. Please share. Please comment with all the things that you guys normally do. And once again, if you want to watch me game, I got Erik Griffin Gaming. I'm doing that every single day. I don't know when I'm going to go on the road again and all that stuff, especially just as I'm recording this particular intro. The great D.L. Hughley was in Nashville, and he fainted on stage, and now he has the coronavirus. And, it's just, you see the video, and it's just people in the crowd, no masks, sitting right next to each other, like everything's fine. And it's just like, I think there's places out there that think that we're safe, that it's okay, but it's obviously not. I don't know all the details. It's just, you see that, and that's what I think. As a performer, I go, ooh, I don't know if I want to be in that situation just yet. So, I'm a full-time streamer now. I'm a gamer, full-time gamer. Not very good at it. Sometimes I'm good. Most of the time I'm not. But you can check me out on Erik Griffin Gaming on Twitch daily. But now, please enjoy this episode with Mr. Ron Funches, and thank you for watching as usual. I just do it simple. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. Mr. Ron Funches. It's just that simple. What's weird is we both our birthdays are March 12th, and it was March 12th. I don't know where you were, but I was out performing, and it was like when everything went crazy. It was like literally the next day, they were like, I think they might cancel the shows. I did my shows, and then I flew home on that Sunday.
Yeah, I was in Honolulu because I had a show out there that set up for my birthday. And so it started off real fun, real nice. Had my there, had my fiance there. We were all excited and happy. And then the next day, it was just like, oh, I think we got to go back home early. So we canceled the show, and I ended up just having my birthday and having a little dinner there, and then went home on the 13th.
Yeah, this is just unprecedented times. It just feels like the start of like a zombie apocalypse or something like that. Like, this is how it starts, Yeah,
or the middle of it. It's like
Right.
But it's so weird because at the same time, I'm also seeing there's some clubs opening back up. Wise Guys is back open. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I'm
not
going there in July. I gotta call my manager, figure out what's right, what's wrong.
I know. Oops, but that shouldn't be there. Yeah, I saw a video of the drive-through comedy. I don't know if you saw that.
What that is?
Oh, it's like, remember those old drive-in movie theaters?
Yeah.
Well, they're having cars pull in, and then a comic is like on a stage, and then they're listening to the comedy through their radios, and then honking and stuff.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
It's like, it feels to me like the people that are coming up with those type of ideas are strictly, I think it's monetary reasons first.
Yes.
And no idea of like how this will affect
the psyche of a comic.
And like,
difference between heckling and laughing at that point. You're just getting honked at the whole time.
I think the worst is if it's just like one solid honk in the back, just You know,
I'm like, oh, y'all need to get on their level. They in it, or they stepped out in their car.
Yeah, which one is it? You know what I mean? I don't know. I remember they talk about the Great Depression and like a couple of businesses that really survived were entertainment and alcohol. You know, which would have been great for the comedy business. You know what I mean? Probably was great to be a comedian in the Great Depression or like an entertainer, right? But this is something that's completely different. Like alcohol will still survive, but what do you think our business is going to look like, say, in a year or 2 years?
I think in the short term, it's a downturn. I think you have to be like realistic and logical about that, especially if even when we come back, they're going to be lowering the capacity of these clubs and of these theaters, you know, so which means by very definition, our guarantees are going to get lowered, you know? So to me, I think it kind of reckons back to like vaudeville time where you're going to diversify and really be hyphenate, definitely have your own podcast, definitely have as many streams of incomes, you know. That's what I like about you, man. Like you do a little bit of everything. You got your podcast, you got your Twitch, you got your stand-up, you got your acting, you got your voiceovers, and I think that's
Tell me more about me, Ron.
back of you, and that's what I think everybody's gonna have to do. Like I think a lot of times you run into these like pure stand-ups, right? And they're like, that's all I want to do. Everything else is hacky. And I think those are people gonna be starving, you know?
Yeah. I wondered this though. Let me get your thoughts on this. What if like in a year the fans start to go, I actually don't find so and so funny anymore. or if they're like, I didn't even know why I thought this person A, I didn't even know why I thought they were funny, and now things are back. I'm like, I don't think I'm done with that person. Like, do you see something like that happening for people?
I think that's very real. Because you got to look at it similar. Like we're all businesses in that way, right? And you look at businesses that are failing through this. There are already businesses that people were kind of iffy on, right? Like GameStop, for example. Who the GameStop, you know, you can buy anything you want digitally off the store. Usually they're having their own sales. Anytime you went to a GameStop, it was a bad experience. They're always trying to get you to sell back your game. They're always trying to get you to pre-order bullshit. And so, but you just put up with it because it was there. But now I think like those are the type of things like people just aren't going to put up with shit just because it's there. You got to have to really provide a service. I think if you're coming out of this pandemic with the exact same set that you went into it, you might be fucked, you know. Like I'm even looking at my shit going like, oh shit, like that doesn't make sense anymore for me to tell this joke, you know. It doesn't vibe with what reality is. I think you just gotta be smart and look at that and evolve, and the people who don't evolve are probably gonna be the people who left behind, unfortunately.
That's an interesting thought. I know what you mean. I mean, look at like Nordstrom's. They're closing like 16 of their stores. So I know what you're saying. It's like, even if you're like a name brand, you have to evolve in this. Yeah. I mean, I've thought about like, what would I even talk about? Like, I don't want to be, it's like, let's say in 6 months, even if there's a vaccine or there's some sort of treatment and then we're able to like get somewhat back to normal, it's like, damn, how long are all the comics going to be talking about the coronavirus?
Yeah.
And I feel hypocritical because even like here I am on a podcast, and this is probably like the 17th time I've talked about, you know, something like this. So I guess it is what it is.
Yeah.
But how do we get that machine of entertainment back? Because this was unprecedented times also for comedy. I mean, like my agent kept talking about before this, like more tickets were being sold for comedy than any other time. Like it was like crazy amount of tickets. I mean, if you think about Joe Coy is selling out the Forum and all these places at the same, like he was in the Philippines at the same time as Dave Chappelle and sold out more than he did. And Dave Chappelle sold out. You know what I mean? So I'm saying, like, coming out of this, what are we going to do?
I got rebuild. So I look at it like,
yeah.
It runs in cycles. As a student of comedy, like, hey, like there was the big boom like in the 80s, and then that burst, but that was more of a burst because it was like lack of talent and people were stealing each other's jokes and everybody was like getting overcharged at clubs. But I think similar, like we're talking about that GameStop, like the time of a club thinking they can come in and charge you, you know, 25, $30 a ticket on top of a 2-drink minimum, on on top of all the food being crazy expensive. That shit probably gonna have to change. Like you gonna have to really get. I think what's gonna happen is these mixed media shows where the clubs have a certain number of people in the club, and then they're also streaming it out, which means they're gonna need to have like a 4K setup. They're gonna need all that shit, you know. So I think it really is just. I think it's a fun time for the business too because you get like really find out what you love and that's what I've been thinking about mostly is like for me I'm like I only want to now focus on the shit I really care about because I don't know where money's going to come from either way, so I might as well do that I love and the shit that I'm into, and I'm so blessed that I with voiceovers and shit. But I think you really have to be smart and being a lazy comic is gonna probably be a thing of the past.
Yeah, being a lazy comic will be a thing of the past. I mean, I totally agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's just, but like, what do you miss the most? So we're not so serious. Like, what is like the few things that you really miss?
Oh, man, it's serious, but it's also not that serious thing because I've been getting depressed about it a bit, going like, I wish I could travel and shit. But then I was writing in my journal, getting a little stoned, and I was like, fuck, like, this is when we're needed the most, like, this is our job. Our job is to make people happy, and I take that seriously. And so, like, that's the thing with the wise guys, with them being back open, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I'm ready to go out, but if people are ready to see me, I got to go do my job. I got to make people happy and shit. I'm sorry, that wasn't your original question. What was your question?
No. But I like that what you just said right there too. I mean, at what point is it do we feel responsible, to go out and do the thing? Because look, I've been doing my podcast and I've been doing my gaming videos and all that kind of stuff, like you said. And I'm surprised that like so many messages come in like, oh man, thanks for this. It's really helping me during this time. I'm really getting through because of this, or when I'm feeling lonely and depressed and like, they're like, this is getting me through the day and that kind of thing, So I know what you're saying because even to get on that subject, I mean, I fight depression, I feel like every other day. And I didn't realize it until I was in the thick of it. And I was like, oh man, I'm really feeling this. And I'm trying to look for something like, so I find myself, I'm cooking, because I want to feel productive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you got that activity, and then at the end of it, you achieve something.
Yes.
That's what we're missing a lot is that sense of achievement, especially those of us who are so used to that instant gratification of those weekends. I go out, I tell these jokes, people are giving me love, telling me how great I am, and so, I mean that's what I miss, the whole aspect, though. Well, especially for me because I'm not like I would say I'm a small draw. I'm not the biggest draw.
Yeah, me too.
Draw, but I'm not the biggest draw. But what I always loved was like going to a weekend on a Thursday and watching my room get more and more filled throughout the day because I'm doing my promos, and just word of mouth of people going, shit, this is a good show. And
yeah.
And like that's what I miss is kind of like watching the weekend build up, making new friends, like having people be like, oh shit, I just knew you from this movie or TV show. I didn't know you were really fucking funny.
Yeah. Ron, real quick, let me ask you: you wouldn't happen to have some like earbuds or headphones? Because I'm getting a little.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm getting some choppy sound, and you're saying some good stuff, and I don't want to miss, and I don't want the whole thing to be like that. Because I just realized it's for some reason it's like cutting in and out.
Okay, no, hold on, give me 1 second.
So, anyways, let's just get right back into it. Ron got his headphones, so because we get a little choppy, so now we're good. Yes, I see what you're saying. Like I know. I miss like going out and the comedy part of it too, but I also miss some simple things. Like I miss going to restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I missed the choices of all the different types of food, we can go get. And then I miss going to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was a big go to the movie guy. And, so I'm not, and so like one day my girl just starts crying because she was like, I miss restaurants. It's just one of those things that depression hits you in weird ways. And
yeah, it hits you in waves too. Like a couple of days ago, like 3-4 days ago, I was on top of the world. I was like, man, I'm loving life. I'm exercising a bunch. I'm like, I'm still having fun. I'm doing things because I think I got I was like, oh, it's almost May 15th. That order's gonna be lifted. Things are gonna be fun again. And then when they were like, oh, actually,
they were like, I think we think it's gonna be August, And I was like, I had the same thought too. I went like this. I was like, oh no, what? That's why I don't even want to know. Like, I don't want them saying any more dates anymore. It's kind of like when your agent goes, like, hey, are you available on whatever dates? I go, hey, I'm available.
Yeah. Tell me if we booked it.
Tell me if we booked it. Yeah, man. That's exactly how I feel about that. So that's how I feel about this Corona. Like, don't give me some date, because then you're gonna disappoint me heavy. Because I'm really disappointed right now.
Yeah.
Because I know that even when they go, all right, we're gonna try to get things back to normal at this particular date, I know for me, it still ain't gonna be back to normal.
Few more months down the line.
Months, it could be half a year before it's like, okay, let's try. But like you say, some of the clubs and stuff are like Texas, they're trying to open up. But it's like, it's like, is it gonna be worth it for all the parties involved? So
yeah.
You know what I mean by that? I mean, it's like, is it going to be worth it for the people? Is it going to be worth it for a 300-seater for 25% capacity? Is it going to be worth it for those people that decide to come? What's the ticket value going to be for them? Are they going to be like, yeah, I can afford this or that? And is that going to be worth it for the club to actually be open? And is that going to be worth it for them to be like, here's the money to fly out, and here's whatever little money's left for you? I mean, as a comic, is that worth it to basically, risk your life? Because... You know what I mean? But, you go ahead. What do you think?
No, man, I think that's a real talk. That's like what you're talking about with the difference of doing it with out of fear, out of like, hey, if we don't, we're going to go out of business, as opposed to providing a service, So, like, me, myself, I'm gonna look at my accounts, look at where I'm at, and see how long I can afford to stay home, and I will do that because I got to protect my fiance, I got to protect my son, but I understand the business that's looking out for their family, So there's really no right answer for that shit as long as people are making the best precautions they can, That's really it, and then it's up to that individual person if they want to take that booking or not, Because to be honest, if you ask me, like if my booking in Utah in July, like odds are I'm gonna go, because I miss doing stand up so much. But I don't know if that's the right decision. And if my fiance tells me she don't want me to go, then I'm not gonna go. But it's hard for me because like we're like we're like athletes or whatever. Like, hey, we always think we should play. Like, hey, I don't care if I got a broken leg, I should be playing. I don't care if there's a pandemic, I should be playing.
Yeah.
But sometimes that might not be the smartest move, and especially I don't want to. As being a small draw, I don't want to go out and then have a bunch of people being like, "Oh, Ron thinks it's cool to go out," and
I don't want to be the first to be like where they go, oh, because this is what they're going to say. They're not going to say they got sick at the such and such club. They're going to be like, oh, I got sick at the Ron Funches show.
Yep.
Then the headlines would be like, not fun at the Funches show.
Yeah, and that might not be worth it to pick up a few grand, You might be better to sit at home for a little bit, but I can't judge someone who's not in that position, who's strictly road comic based, and that's how you make your living. How can I judge you,
Well, I think a lot of those like mid-level comics are going to get their shot because there are people that have always been hungry in our business, and they're going to be taking those chances right now. I feel like we're sort of in a similar boat where it's like, we're not Rogan and these Chris D'Elia and these people that like where they're probably not going to be doing comedy for a long time because like it's not going to be worth it to them.
Yeah,
because these theaters are not going to be open.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean? But we're not theater acts, and I do go to 300-seat clubs for 5 shows, and how do I figure out you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I'm not even getting 300 people to come anyway, so then they're gonna be like, You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, so it's gonna be 125 people in there? Okay, cool. That's like,
Yeah, that's not awesome. So this is a normal weekend then.
oh, so this gonna be a Wednesday in Idaho? Okay. Yeah, but they're gonna be like, but again, we just have to decide like, well, so they're gonna be like, well, we're cutting the money, and you're gonna be like, well, the money. My thing was like, the money's already cut. That's what I felt like in the first place. Mm-hmm. So this could be just another reason to like, so I don't know. I feel like, and then I'm wondering, what do you think shows are gonna look like? Because we're both actors. Like, I'm looking at shows right now, and I'm looking at restaurant scenes, and I'm looking at bar scenes, and I'm looking at like all the extras, and I'm looking at those kind of things, and I go, how is that going to be affected?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of smaller shows for a little bit. It's so weird because but you need like even like a small scene, as you know, like there could be 2 people in a scene, but that's still 20 people, lighting and sound and all that stuff. So it's like it seems really impossible in order to work it without. I think there's going to be a lot of testing. People just being like, hey, you got to get tested. You got to show up negative, and then you can come to work, But, man, that's a good question. I don't know, but I hope it comes back. Because the last thing I want to see is a bunch of shows, like, and then them living out this time. I don't want to see a bunch of people in masks. I don't want to see a bunch of people like that's like, let me live in that world that we used to live in.
Wait, it's funny because it's already a fantasy world anyway that we were living in on TV because not everybody's pretty.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, so this is already a fantasy. So let's not have pretty people like, so pretty people on TV gonna be like this. You know what I mean? It's like, come on.
Now then they can hire anybody.
Yeah, you're right. Everybody's gonna be covered up. So I don't know how they're gonna do that either. But I wonder like. I was thinking like, are they going to sequester people? Like, let's say you want a show and they go, and then let's say you get on a sitcom and it's on like the Warner Brothers lot and they just go, well, here's the hotel that's right here. You can only go there, here. We'll bring the food for 2 months. Mm-hmm. And it's like, are people going to want to do that?
I do it.
I know, but but what if they like, but also you can't see your family.
Okay, you know what I mean? Yeah,
I know, but I'm just saying, I think those are the kind of choices that we're going to have to start to make, where it's going to be like, all right, we're going to close off the studios, or we're going to, we'll have like, you'll have a room you can stay in, and we'll get this done, like we'll work faster or something like that, We'll do like sitcoms, like in front of no crowds, and we'll do it, we'll get it done in like 6 weeks instead of whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying, what if that's one of the choices? Like, I don't know what I would do. I would probably do it. I'd probably have to do it. You know what I mean?
I mean, to be honest with you, that sounds better to me than going on the road, So
right.
I would rather do that and then quarantine myself and then to be like constantly putting myself in front of new people. But I just hope, to me, just the most dire situation is for them to not make new content,
Right.
That would be horrible, not only as a person that creates content and as a person, because I'm not only thinking about me, man, I'm thinking about all them producers, all them, the line people, all the makeup artists who like got nothing to do right now,
Yeah.
And to me, that would. But then you go that end result that 6 months from now, we don't got no new fall shows. We don't got no nothing. We're all watching Seinfeld again and again. I don't like that life, you know?
Yeah, I know. I mean, because right now, and I think it's kind of funny to watch all these sports shows pretending as if, oh, it's going to be fun and football's going to be here. I just think it's so short-sighted. I just think that it's just wishful thinking. And so, like, and even with the shows that are coming out now that have already been made, we're kind of in this mode of like, okay, well, I think it's going to come back and things are going to get better. But when 6 months comes and like, there ain't no new How to Get Away with Murder because they couldn't film, and then the football finally realizes, oh yeah, we were not going to be able to play, and then we're going to be like, whoa, this, because it already feels real, and there's people out there who are struggling, but there's still like a inkling of hope, thinking, all right, we're going to come back around. But there's going to come a point when it's going to be very dire, and we're going to see it. It's going to be in the little things. Mm-hmm. In the little things like you say, coming this fall, Seinfeld season 1, and we're going to be like, what?
Yeah. We really don't. We haven't. I mean, we felt a bit of the economic effects, but like the real shit is 6 months down the road, and the shit that terrifies me is winter when natural flu season comes back and people are getting sick for different reasons, and also so there's going to be a whole new shit, and so that's kind of what I'm. Like, that's what makes me kind of want to take these gigs and shit in the summer is like, I'm not really looking forward to winter. So I'm like,
I feel you.
Let me squirrel up now as much as I can, whatever I can do. I mean, man, I hate to be that type of dude, especially on this pod, but like I was even with my fiance, I was like, man, we should start looking up generators. We should start looking up, things that we can make sure we're going to be okay if power goes out,
I know it's weird. It's weird. Like, like how far do we think about like what's really happening? I mean, I just like it was crazy on Cinco de Mayo. We wanted to get tacos, so like I Grubhub's. I didn't, but I do suggest for people. I don't even know what this is. I don't even know how to say this because it's weird because the restaurants actually suffer more when you use those kind of apps.
Yep.
They suffer. Because it's like such a huge percentage that's taken away from the restaurant. They much prefer you to pick the food up yourself. It's better for them. But at the same time, there's a bunch of people who've made their living in the last 4 or 5 years doing Uber Eats, Grubhub, and those kind of delivery people. So it's like, I don't know which one. But anyway, I go to pick up this food, and man, it was a madhouse. It took 2.5 hours to get these tacos. But I got to a point where then it was like all these people around, everybody's got their masks on, and people were yelling like, I've been here 2 hours. All this. It was starting to get crazy for some damn tacos. And I was like, oh, this is how it's going to happen right here. At this Benny's Tacos on Venice. This where shit is gonna go crazy. This is where the Armageddon starts.
When they ran out of the carnitas, that's when Armageddon started.
Yeah, but but I got to a point where it was like an hour in where I was like, oh, I'm waiting for these tacos. There was just a certain point where my girl's in the car like, what are you doing? I'm like, we committed.
Yeah. Yeah, we ain't going home without the tacos.
Yeah, we're not going home without the food. So we finally got the food. But see, in that moment, I was like, oh gosh, should I be worried about this? Because like when you're talking about traveling and stuff, like meeting new people, I'm not actually worried about being at the club because when you're at the club, you're insulated because you're going to go right to the stage. The stage will be clean. The mics will be clean. You'll do your thing. And it ain't going to be no more meet and greets. Meet and greets are done.
But that's the shit that bothers me because that was my shit. That's what people, because that's how I learned. That's how I came into business was that like people go see your show and they like you. They meet you after and they love you. And so like that. For me, most of my show was like a half an hour of hugging people after the shows, and that, like when you say what you're gonna miss, that's what I'm gonna miss the most is like meeting people, and then people just coming up to me like going like, "Can I give you a hug?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." I'm gonna miss that.
Like that March 12th show, the 13th show, I was in Tennessee, and like I said from stage, I was like, "All right, guys, yeah, that's the show." I'm so sorry. There's not going to be a meet and greet. I'm not, and it's like, that is part of it. I think that it is like when they come to a show to see someone like myself and you, like, it's like, they're very much like, especially for me, they see me and they go, oh, that's the dude from Workaholics. That character I love. I really want to.
I want to shake his hand.
I want to take a picture. I want to do, so
I want to tell him how he got me through bad times when I was watching Workaholics.
Right. So I don't know how that's gonna change. Like I don't know. Like what do you think? What I mean, maybe we bring like a 6-foot stick and everybody, you know what I mean? And we hold it and we just we going like this. Oh, 6 foot. Oh man, I just but to me that is it, right? That's the answer. Is like, and that's what makes us. Our job so great is that like what seems dire, we're like, let's find a fun way to mess with it. So if it is like, me holding a stick of keeping someone 6 feet away and they still want to take a picture, I'll do that. That sounds fun. You know? I think that is the answer. It's finding ways to make it fun and still connect with people. Like I think shutting it down completely is a bad idea. Just got to find out how to do it. So with with all this free time, I know you're recently engaged, and so congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
So, you've been with her for a while, right?
For 2 years now,
yeah. 2 years. Yeah, that's a long time for a comic. That's like 2 years, man. You going on your 17th year.
Yeah, and then you throw the quarantine in it, because first we was doing that 2 years, but I was, home 3 days a week. That was when it was easy, because by the time we were arguing, I'm like, all right, see you later. I'll be back in a couple days, and we'll miss each other. But to be honest, it's been kind of awesome that way. It's forced us to work through our issues. It's forced us to look at each other and really talk about things. And I make this joke all the time. I go, when I asked you to marry me, I was probably 85% sure, but since this quarantine happened, I'm 100% sure. You my girl, you my family.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, I had a rocky time at first with my girl because she's staying with me during all this, and so I don't know if she's going. I think that's it. She's here. So it was like rocky at first. Because you're going from spending a certain amount of time, and then there's certain activities you're doing because you're spending it. You know what I mean? Like, when they come over, it's for a particular reason, and we know that you were going to separate after that. I'm going on the road, you're going to work, or whatever it is. So, like, you have it in your compartmentalized in your brain what this particular time is. Now it's like those compartments have been knocked down, and we're in this.
Yeah, and then you end up going like, "Oh, you need all of my time? You want all of my time?"
Yeah, dude, and that's the part where you just go like, and I'm a proximity guy. So if I was you right there, and my girl was just sitting across over on the other side of the room, and she's just doing whatever she's doing, I'm so good with that, I'm good with just proximity. Mm-hmm. My girl, she need
check
eye
in,
contact. She needs like this isn't quality time. I'm like, we here with each other.
Oh, I know exactly how that goes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But but we've been working through it. We've been doing couples therapy together, which has been real helpful. Because I was married before, and and that fell apart, and that was a big issue with me. I had trust issues with women, and then you throw in the slight amount of fame, and so then there was a big trust issues, because I remember going out with girls and thinking like, oh, this girl likes me, and then she'd be like, oh, you're so funny, Shelly, and I'd be like, oh, this bitch don't even know my real name, like, and,
oh wow,
and so like I had those type of issues. And with her though, it's been really good to just like she just needs our morning together. So we've been waking up. I'll wake up a little early than I want to. We'll meditate together. We'll talk a little bit. Then she'll go make some breakfast, and then I can go. Then I can go about my day. And so it's just nice to like. Sometimes that's all they need is to just that little check in at the beginning of the day. Maybe that's something to help you out.
Yeah, I know what you mean. She's very much like, and then so this is something I had to do because I don't know if y'all have y'all been living together even before that?
Yeah, we've been living together for about almost a year and a half. So like 6 months after.
So you've already gotten past like personal space and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, but it's a struggle.
Okay.
Every day my closet was getting more and more taken over.
Well, when she came, I lost all my drawers. Like, I have one drawer left, and then now my stuff is just scattered through like different places in the which is fine because my thing was like I wanted her to feel like okay, like so the master bedroom. I'm like okay, well this is your room. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So then like she has this thing where she goes like, well, this is office hours. So like I leave the room and I close the door and I knock on the door. Hey, because I realize like when you move into somebody else's space, then you feel like you don't have your own space, and you have to feel like you have your own space, especially because my other bedroom is like this is my podcast studio, gaming room, my man room. You know what I mean? So it's like I needed to make sure she had her own thing, but I know exactly what you're saying about just working through things, but as we're working through it and trying to be a better version of ourselves, I know that there's a lot of people that are it's not gonna work. I mean, people are gonna come out of this, right?
But that's good. That's not a negative. I think that we use it's good to know. Like, hey, I thought we were good together, but since we had to be together for several hours because of this quarantine, I know you're not the one. And so that's good to know. That saved you some time. But that to me has been so blessed, that's been the opposite. And I was worried about that. That was a lot of stuff that we had to talk about in therapy, because I was like, oh, our life is so great and we have fun and we travel, we go to different countries, and we still argue on occasion. So like I would have the thing like, oh, what would you be like if shit really went down? What would you be like if I didn't have money anymore? And now I'm seeing it. And she still is sweet. She cares about me, wants to make sure I'm okay. She doesn't give a shit about like going to parties or anything like that. She just wants to, fuck. Yesterday I beat her at NBA Jam. I'm like, that's my wife. That's my wife.
Man, that's great, dude. I like to hear that, because I've been with my girl for a few years now. And what I realize is I think I've spent more physical time with her during this quarantine than the whole relationship.
Yep.
Even though, because then I think, okay, the times we went to Costa Rica, and I was like, but when you're on vacation, it's different. You're meant to spend all your time together. You're doing all these activities. It's 24 hours. It's mostly 24 hours a day, really.
Yeah, just eating and boning.
But to be home and having that same kind of thing, that's a lot. Like it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time to spend literally 24 hours with a person for days on end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was always the trap. Like, that's me. I'm a hermit. I love alone time. I love being by myself. And my girl's a little bit different. She likes attention. She can go off and be on her own, but we're lucky. Like, I got my little pool house. So that's what she does. She goes off, and then I even call her my neighbor. I'm like, all right, you going to your house, neighbor? I'll see you tonight. But yeah, because I know exactly what you mean. When she moved into the place, that's what she would tell me. She'd be like, this is your house. Like, you already have it decorated. You already have all the things you want. It doesn't feel like my house, And she even talked about it. She's like, hey, if we have a kid and stuff, I'd want to go get our house, And that so for me, I go, well, fuck, I don't know where that money's coming from.
Right. Dude, I say the same thing. And she said, but they all the same. I'm actually, I feel better hearing this from you, because it's like, this is what I'm going through, even on my, I'm in like a townhouse thing, and it's like same kind of thing. It's like, well, this isn't how we should move. And so one of the arguments was like, it's a pandemic. I can't, this is rent control where I'm at. Like, I can't just,
we gotta maintain. We gotta maintain
for now. Don't worry. When we come out of this, we'll talk about that. But let's, you know what I mean? It could be a nightmare because we're thinking about okay, well, where's the money going to come from? Let me make sure we keep it. Let's keep expenses low. Let's keep it. We think like that. You know what I mean? But
yeah, just because we never know, because our money's is not like, hey, every 2 weeks. Sometimes you get a big score, and sometimes you just out there picking up as many checks as you can on the road. But yeah, I think a good thing to know is that it's not like, for me, I would get mad because I'm like, oh, you don't think this is good enough, but it was never about that. It wasn't money. It wasn't about getting a bigger place. It was about having something that she feels is her own.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. Yeah, it's relationships can be challenging. It's like, I get, because I think your girl is in that age range that women like attention. It's like 18 to 99. It's somewhere in there. They really need attention.
They want to know they're a priority in your life.
Yeah.
And that makes sense, especially with, we spend so much time going like, oh, why do you act like this? Why do you do that? But then when you turn it around and you look at our lives, right? And when the shit that we do, and that we're basically just grown children playing video games all day, and these women love us, but then they also know that them hoes be out there. So
I remember I had this little gaming case that I used to take on the road with me. So it has like it's self-containing. It's got a monitor. You can put the PlayStation or Xbox in it from games.
I got one of them. I got one.
Okay.
I got one.
So I remember the first time she saw me pack in my Xbox, and she's starting to get an attitude. She's like, "What? You taking your Xbox with you?" And I was like, "Well, normally I would chase hoes.
So which one do you want?
She was like, let me find your controller. Is the controller over here?
Where's your headset, baby?
Yeah,
We need
let me make sure you got everything you need. It's a cord in there, so I mean, it's
but
like,
that's dead serious. That's because that's my girl too. She goes, oh, it used to bother me. It used to not that she was like thought it was childish, but she was like, there's always people like, oh, nerd or whatever. But then she was like, yeah, I realized that this meant that you weren't cheating on me. This meant that you had other focus. You just wanted to play games and have fun. You weren't out there on Instagram or Snapchat trying to get girls,
Well, you still could have been, but
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, don't think I don't have the energy to do both.
I mean, it's almost like a challenge. Are you challenging me?
I'll meet a girl on Xbox Live.
Yeah, it's oh man, it's a challenge, but I'm glad you're working through it. I'm doing the same thing, and for anybody out there listening right now too, it's like this is the time not to find ways to get out of things, but try to find ways to make yourself better, make your relationship better, and even if making your relationship better means that we've come to a point where we need to separate. I mean, that's still making your relationship better. So try to work through that. On a lighter note, like, with all this free time, like, what are you catching up on? Like, what
bro,
what have you been watching? What's your joint?
Two opposite ends of the spectrum. I've been watching a lot of Dave on FX, Little Dicky show. I think that's brilliant. That's real high concept comedy. It's real funny. And then I've been watching a hella 90 Day Fiance.
Oh, don't get me started. I can't get enough of 90 Day Fiance.
Oh man, I was avoiding it. I was like, I don't watch this bullshit. But now I'm 6 seasons deep. I watched before the 90 Day. I watched after the Happily Ever After. I watched all that shit, man. Just trying to waiting for Nicole to fucking wake up. Realize that Aslan ain't never gonna get married to you, girl.
Bitch. He don't like you. Like, man, don't get me started on 90 Day Fiance. Because you look at this thing and you just go to yourself, and this is for men and women. Big bitch, please. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Like, are you like? That's not a match. Like, that's not a match. Like,
yes.
Like, she went to Turkey, and the little like cutaway. He's all like, I did not know she was
so big.
So big.
You
didn't know she was so big, motherfucker. You didn't know. So what was you looking at on these pictures? Like, come on, bro. And then
even if you just saw her face, the cheekbone structure, you know that's a big girl.
You think skinny is on that? Yeah. You think like that would be shocking if you were like, I didn't know you was this skinny. You had a really okay. And then here's the part that got me on that one too. He took her on a hike.
Of sand. A hike of sand.
He took her on and she was like this. I told you I don't work out. That's not a match.
Yeah.
That don't seem like a couple that's made like Cupid didn't hit that shot.
My favorite thing on that show, my favorite device that they use that I like, you're in a shitty relationship if you go, let's just start over. Like they're every episode, they're always like, let's just start the relationship over. It's like, no, you can't do that.
Like I am happy to see. Did you see the one, the quarantine edition one?
No, I didn't want to watch that one.
Oh man, that was
it good? Was it worth watching?
No, I mean you have to watch it. I mean I don't know if it was worth it or not, but I mean it's just interesting to see what it lends itself to all entertainment. Not everything is meant to be done like this.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, and not everybody is, let's say, their talents don't necessarily shine in every format.
Oh, for real. The more you strip away the lights and the cameras and all that, and when you get to this, that's when you gotta be talented. You gotta be funny. You gotta have something that people want to listen to make them just sit through it not having any glitz and glamour. And I don't think Nicole, Asin, David, Annie, none of them motherfuckers, especially not Chantel with her dumb ass family.
Oh my God, her dumb ass family. Don't even get me started on that. They are so stupid.
How'd they turn into old rich white Republicans? How did that happen?
When did that? They are the stupidest bunch of people. Like everybody, that couple, those two families, I can't stand them. I love to watch them, and I can't stand her parents. Her parents are just two of the most awful. Like, why are you acting like this?
Yeah, and then they come up with they're so bougie and stuff for you got a little bit of money. Cool. But there ain't no reason to be you yelling out immigration on this dude is like, man, you don't remember where we came from? You don't remember that type of shit? You gonna be acting like this? And I hate that mom because she always be trying to come up with some funny ass quote and then she don't even say it right. She's always like, Einstein's theory of gravity. You mean, like, bitch, you mean Newton? You don't even know what the fuck you talking about.
I can't stand them, but it's fun to watch. So you're watching all the 90 Day Fiancés. I love that show so much. I even talk about it on stage.
Me too.
Anytime something that makes me visceral, that's just a visceral reaction. I love talking about that. So you like guilty pleasures. You're not just a snob. You're not a snob, right?
No, bro.
But you're probably 50-50.
Yes. Yeah. I've always been that way. That's who I am. Like, that's what's so fun. It's cool that I got a little bit of money now because now, like, my attitude kind of makes sense to people. Before, people didn't understand. It's like, damn, how you on food stamps in Pellegrino and crab legs? I'm like, because my food stamps ain't gonna make it but 2 weeks. That's how.
Yeah, that's why I gotta hustle. That's the whole reason why you said I gotta hustle.
Yes, sir.
Because once you taste a little bit of the good life, you like, I gotta get this back. I gotta keep. I gotta maintain.
So easy to get used to. That's the thing. My mom even talk about, like, my mom's so spoiled now. She comes from Chicago, South Side, growing up and stuff, and now like her daughter's a doctor, her son's in TV shows and movies. My mom's going around meeting Justin Timberlake and shit, and now she had a chance to meet him a second time, and she was like, nah, I already met him.
Oh my God, the worst, right?
Yes.
Like when your family takes on the worst characteristics of a bougie celebrity, that's when you know what? That's when you know you did it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they're doing it, so I don't have to do it.
Yeah, man. I've been catching up on it's. You know what I find a funny thing to deal with is, like, when you start living with somebody, is dealing with what they like to watch and what you like to watch.
Yeah.
Because, like, one thing about being in a relationship, it's like you're watching what she wants to watch.
That's how we got the 90 days started.
Yeah, that's like me and Gossip Girl.
Yeah, my girl take it to a whole nother level though, that she'll refuse to watch a show that I've already seen a couple of episodes of. Like, she's like,
you guys are on that. Oh,
she's like, we both got to go in fresh. So that's why we started watching Dave. We watched Pen 15 that way, which is another great show. And so right now we're in between shows. So we just watched 90 Day. I tried to get her to watch What We Do in the Shadows, which is another good FX show. But
that's a great show.
She's like, I don't like vampires.
Yeah, my girl's dishonorable, so she'll start watching the show, and if we like it, like if she really likes it, if I leave the room, she gonna keep watching. Like, she's dishonorable as fuck about that kind of stuff.
Oh, so that's cold-blooded.
It is cold-blooded. So we end up watching, and then she's very much like this. So like if we watch episode 1, 2, and 3, let's say, right, she'll watch episode 4. And then I come in like, oh, well, let's watch episode 4. I already watched it. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So then we just go, okay, well, I guess I got to do my own thing. Or this is what I really hate. If we start watching a show together and I like it, we on episode 3. I'm really digging it, but she might go, this is boring. I don't want to watch it anymore.
Oh, and now it's kiboshed.
Yeah, the show. Yeah. So now I gotta like get my iPad. I gotta,
Can you put your headphones on?
But isn't it strange though that like, again, what I was talking about earlier about proximity, I don't mind that. I don't mind laying in bed with my iPad and my headphones on, watching while she's watching what she wants to watch.
Oh, we do that all the time. We fall asleep that way. She'll fall asleep watching The Office, and then I'm watching a WCW pay-per-view from 1996.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like that, but sometimes though she gets like, but you're not present here. I want you to like watch. I said, but I don't want to watch season 4 of Gossip Girl. I don't get like when you watch those like teen dramas with just pretty people, and you just go, damn. Like some of the acting on some of those type shows.
Horrible.
Oh my God. I just go, what? How did they make this show? That was terrible. Or like, I don't hate to be all like pretentious like that, but some of those things are like, it strictly is, this is just pretty people being pretty and terrible.
Yeah, it's like enjoy your career while you're in your 20s because you don't have any real skills besides looking good. But enjoy it while you got it. Put that money up.
I know. Then pave the way for the talented, ugly dudes.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, brother, every year I go, okay, y'all can have these 20s, early 30s. I'm going to come in late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I'm going to be the old man doing shit.
Yeah, man. That's how I feel about it. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a good show that I've just recently. I did watch that one show with Miss America.
I don't know that one.
That's on. I'm watching on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about Gloria Steinman and like the feminist movement. The lady and what's that lady that wrote the Feminist Mystique? It's about that movement in the like 60s, 70s when women got. They were fighting against this conservative group of women who were like, we should just be at home with, working for that's a good show. But I haven't really, nothing's really stood out to me. Like, that's why I'm like, I hope that TV's still being made. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. You should check out Dave if you haven't, because I was
I haven't checked that out. I will check that out.
Yeah, I was apprehensive at first because I love Andrew Santino. That was the reason that I checked it out in the beginning because he's in it.
That's why I haven't watched it.
That little bitch. But I hear
it's good.
Yeah, it is good, and it really, as the season progresses, it gets better and better. I can't recommend it enough. It's a great show.
Do you have Disney Plus?
Yeah, oh yeah, we got just about everything.
Yeah, I have to. It feels like that's gonna be the new cable eventually. I mean, that's what it is. You think of get rid of cable, but now I have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, a
Disney Plus.
DC Universe.
You got DC Universe,
motherfucker! Yes. They got some good. It's some good stuff on there. You don't got DC Universe?
I don't, man. I'm on a show on that thing, and I ain't got it.
What show are you on there?
I'm on Harly Quinn, brother.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
You gotta check it out. It's the best show they got. It is the best show they got.
Well, I like the rated R versions of the shows that they know. What I like about DC Universe, it's the rated R branch of DC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because like Titans was great.
Mm-hmm.
Blood, gore, cursing, sex. I love that about that show. And then the other one, the Doom Patrol. Mm-hmm. That was a great show. Those two shows are great.
Swamp Thing was a good show, even though they canceled that right out the gate. But man, I don't know if you watched the Batman animated series when you were younger, like I did. Okay.
They got all of that on there.
Yes, but I'm saying the Harley Quinn is like it's a spiritual successor to the Batman animated series, but it's all fucking like just R-rated and bloody and fucking JB Smoove is in it, Wanda Sykes is in it, Jason Alexander is in it.
Damn, I didn't even know that. It's a good plug for this right here on DC Universe. I mean, I actually, at this point right now, I would recommend DC Universe over Disney Plus, but the only reason why I have Disney Plus is like if you have Hulu, you should have Disney Plus.
Yeah, you can combine it with the Disney Plus, the ESPN
Right.
Plus. Yeah.
That makes it all worth it. But I've been kind of feeling like Disney Plus is a scam.
Yeah, for real. 'Cause all I'm watching is The Simpsons.
Yeah, and I'm not a Simpsons fan, so that doesn't do anything for me. You know what I mean? So like, I don't hate it. I just never got into it. So like, where's all these shows that they said it was going to come out? Where's all these Avengers spin-off shows? Like, where are they? And then like, they had The Mandalorian, which was great. I really enjoyed Mandalorian. But then after that, I was like, well, okay, well, look, you wrecked our beak. Now you're just leaving us dry.
Yeah, man. It seemed like with all those streaming services, I was really kind of looking forward to that Apple Plus streaming service. I don't know a single show on that motherfucker. I don't know what they doing over there.
There's I saw 2 of the shows on there. The Servant, the M. Night Shyamalan show, which was actually, it's pretty good. It's bizarre. You'll actually like it. I know you'll like it. Check out The Servant.
Okay.
And the other one was C with what's his name, Jason Momoa.
Momoa?
I always call him Jason Mimosa. But that show was interesting too, kind of post-apocalyptic, type of show. You seem to be interested in that kind of stuff. So those are the only 2 shows. But other than that, like, I didn't want to watch the real pretentious, like the one everybody said you had to watch, and nobody really watched.
Yeah,
yeah,
I know.
You know what I mean? You know those kind of shows where they go like, "Oh, though you have to." It's like nobody's watching this shit, man. Stop telling me about the show.
America is talking about.
Yeah, what show? It's like,
is it 90 Day?
Yeah. Because I'm sure, I'm sure there's cooking network shows that are doing better than that shit. So I don't know. Have you checked out Quibi yet?
I downloaded it because I wanted to watch Reno 911. Big Reno 911 fan. And that's pretty funny. I think I'm in an episode. I might have been cut out. I don't know. I'm checking through for that. And then I have a show coming out on Quibi June 8th called Nice One. But other than that, no, not really. It seemed like their whole thing was about being on the go and watching it on the commute. And now ain't nobody on the go, ain't nobody commuting. And then I think they just now added it to where you can screen out to a television. They didn't even have that at first. So they not doing too well. But I'm hoping my show gets if my show does anything, that's a good promo. Please watch my show.
Yeah, watch your show. I didn't know it was on Quibi. Here's my problem. Here's my problem with the concept of Quibi. Mm-hmm. It'd be like if you eating a fancy steak dinner with crab legs and Pellegrino in a closet.
That sounds kind of fun.
I'm just saying, sometimes when something's so fancy, you want the setting to be fancy.
Yeah, I can see that.
And when the setting's not fancy, it makes it. So what I'm saying is, when you're looking on your phone and you're seeing Brad Pitt or you're seeing a couple of Oscar winners in a scene on something this small, you kind of go, I don't want to see that here.
Yeah. And then they don't even give you the option to see it on your screen. No, I agree with that, man. I
don't want to see it here because I'd rather watch this dog that just, lick
bouncing in a box, face. A puppy bouncing in a box.
Yeah, I'd rather watch. That's what this is for. Not for like 2 Oscar winners to go back and forth. I want that on a bigger scale. So I think maybe that's part of the problem. They made it too
actually
big.
Well said, because I know the thing. There's nothing I hate more than when someone's like, "Oh, check out this new song. It's fucking dope," and then they play it off their cell phone speakers.
Right. Exactly. That's a great way to look at it too. Yeah, I don't want to see a Van Gogh here. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So then it just becomes like, but the macaroni picture that your 2-year-old made, you can show me that on this.
Yes.
Okay, but not on not like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. So
I just think it's okay to have that as an option of being like, hey, we got quick shows. To me, that made a lot of sense when you were looking at albums. In the last couple of years, more and more albums have started being like 40 minutes or less, 10 tracks or less. A lot of things, like, people are making so much fun of it now because it's not doing well. But when you look at the trends and way shit that was going, it made a little bit of sense of being like, hey, everyone's on the go. No one has like a half hour 20 to watch a shit. So let's just do these 10-minute high quality shits. But I think you got options. Everybody wants options. So like if you,
I know, and ironically to be talking about that on an hour-long podcast. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so ironic. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm a little bitter too, because I went in and pitched with somebody and they rejected our thing, talking about, oh, we have like 3 or 4 of the same type of idea, but I don't see those ideas. You know what I mean? But at the same time, though, I do feel like sometimes things become, it's like the people that made Quibi, they also decided to make the movie Cats. I feel like it's the same. You know, it's just a bunch of people thought it was a good idea at first.
people like cats. People like movies.
Yeah. This was famous at a certain particular time. I mean, but because you have to go. You ever wonder, you watching something really terrible, and you ask yourself, as somebody that's in the business, do you ever ask yourself, at what point in this process did they know this was a piece of shit?
Oh, bro, I've been on set asking that, you know? I've been watching things and I'll ask. I'll be like, how did they decide to make this? And then they're like, people will even tell me the truth. They're like, oh, there's a new president and this was the first thing that came across their desk as their decision. So they thought, you know, this would be good because now, you know, that's how a lot of this business works. It's like they'll throw out great ideas because it wasn't their idea, you know, and then they'll see like, oh, this is my idea. I'll put my stamp on it. And it'll be fucking stupid. Make no goddamn sense. I have a show in my head. I will not say the name, but I was on set going, why would you make this show? It makes no sense. It makes no fucking realistic sense that anyone would want to watch this. I will take your check. I am happy to be here, but I know this shit's getting canceled. So like, it just makes no sense.
But Chris and Brent went on to do great things.
They did.
I just tease it. Undateable it had its moments.
Brother, that's the most honest review I've ever heard. Because a lot of people tell me it's trash and a lot of people tell me it's brilliant, but I agree with you. It had its moments.
You know what I'm saying is, it was a grand idea that, like, you know, they tried to execute it, and then after a point you just go, well, we tried this. Let's let this go. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, sometimes even shows that go a long time, like, you know, after a certain point, you go like season 5, 6, 7 of that, they should have set themselves on fire instead.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
The Office is a good example of that, where like once Michael Scott was gone, did you really need to keep this going? Like, you know, but also get them checks, get that work. I'm never. That's the thing with the Quibi that bothers me, is that like, I don't mind it when I see like regular people talking shit about it, because like, yeah, of course it's making fun, it's not doing well. You're like, oh, why would I need another streaming service? I get all that. What I don't get is when, unless like you, they turned you down. I don't get other creatives going, dumbass Quibi. So it's like, you don't want to check, you don't want to fucking experience
another place. I mean, I think here's what I think is wrong. Quibi reminds me of the Playboy channel. You know, it's like, oh, well, yeah, this is a great idea for some people, but not everybody wants to do that.
Yeah,
like, they should have bundled it. You know, like the Playboy channel should have came with like oxygen and like, you know what I mean?
One for you,
right. You know, so that you could go to your girl and be like, oh, Oxygen got some good shows. Yeah, I think Playboy comes with it, but I'm just saying, you know, so I think like I feel like Quibi should have been like a thing that maybe they should have partnered with like Hulu, and like, you know, so it's like if you purchase Hulu, you also get Quibi.
Yeah.
If you purchase, you know what I mean, something like that, because it's like I'm already paying for, like, I have cable is what I still have cable.
Yes. Yeah, me too.
Me too. And I realize I'm paying for cable and I'm paying for this internet cable, because Netflix, I got the good Netflix.
Yep.
I got the good Hulu.
Yep.
And then now I had to pay an extra $1 to get like the Disney Plus and all that. I got Amazon Prime. I told you I got DC Universe.
Yeah.
You know,
I got
like,
Crunchyroll.
See, you the kind of person that got those weird apps too, right? Like
I got the anime.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but when you start counting it all up and you add the internet, like when people go
WWE Network.
like when people go, I got rid of my cable, but I go, but you're still paying $180 for internet and all your streaming services. That's cable. It just looks different. You know, it just looks different. So I think maybe if they would have bundled it, it might have. Because then it's not extra. It's like if you have, they should have partnered with Amazon. So if you have Amazon Prime, you get Quibi, or like, you know, or for an extra $1, you know, something, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, it's not too late for something like that if they end up deciding to do something like that. But I totally agree with you. I mean, I have all that stuff too because I think it's important, since we're in the business, it's important to be able to research anything. If I'm like, oh, I'm writing a show and people like, oh, that kind of reminds me of this. I'm like, oh, let me go check it out so I can make sure I don't run up against it or whatever. So I think I never understand it when comedians are like, I don't watch TV, I don't have cable. It's just like
I was just gonna ask you that. I was just about to ask you that. I can't stand when anybody that's in the entertainment business, like especially performers, when they talk like that. Yeah, I'm not really watching anything. Like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? You don't watch anything. You gotta see what's out there, what's going on, like what's being made, how is it being made, like just to even appreciate, like just to appreciate the business that we're in, so people can appreciate your shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you can see what sets you apart. So you can learn so many things. I learned things from watching great shows, and then I learned things from watching horrible shows of being like, oh shit, that's hack. Stay away from this topic, you know, like, and I think it's like studying game tape, you know, and especially as a comedian, like it's hard, like in some ways I get it because it's real hard for me to watch stand up, you know, like my girl loves watching stand up, loves it. And
I can't.
Yeah, and I try to tell her, and she didn't get it for the longest time. Of like, I can't watch it for fun. I just break it down. I compare it to myself. I get mad if they suck, and then I'm like, why'd you get this? You know?
Man, I used to hate watch Comedy Central half hours. I used to hate watch them back in the day. This motherfucker.
Yes.
That's how I would watch, but that's just me. I'm just crazy like that. I had to
stop
that.
Yeah, now it's got to be someone I really love, or like a real friend of mine, or someone that she really wants to watch. And then I'll be like, okay, I'll turn off my brain. We can watch it together. But it's almost painful.
You know what? That's actually a great way to look at it, because I'll give you an example. It's like the other night, it's late, and we turned on Seinfeld special, right? And I did that. I said that to myself too. I was like, I don't want it, because I didn't like his last special.
No, I hated his last special.
It felt like a money. It literally felt like a money grab. It just felt like, because Netflix just wanted to corner the market in stand up, so they overpaid for this content, you know. But I get that. They have the money to do it. They stole comedy, so nobody says HBO special anymore. Nobody says. They just go, "Where's your Netflix special?" They stole it.
I hate that with a passion. I hate that so much.
Yeah, so they stole it. So now there's no centralized, you know, where comedy, you know, it's not beloved anymore so much as it's like it becomes this trophy. But anyways, we're sitting with it. I laughed my ass off on this special, this recent one. I really enjoyed it, you know, this Seinfeld special. So because I used to be more like you in a sense of like, it's hard to watch, especially even at the Comedy Store. Like, I have trouble being at the Comedy Store sometimes, because one of the things too is like some people that I even consider my friends, I don't like watching, you know? I just be like, I don't want to see this. And that's a tough thing too, because then, you know, we'll sit and be in the hallway talking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and then sometimes sometimes you're on stage and you look back in the back of the room, and sometimes you see like, you know, 3 or 4 of your friends stand up and leave.
Yeah.
Like, you know, or they like they were there, now they're gone.
Yeah, now they don't feel necessary to stick around.
yeah, whatever, you know what I mean, whatever it is. So I know what you're saying, but I still find a way to enjoy comedy though.
Oh, very much. Yeah, I still love it, and I think it's just different time periods. Like you gotta. I can't be in the middle of like trying to write a special and then you say like, hey, let's sit down and watch someone else's comedy. Like that's not going to work. But like after I finished shooting my shit and was just enjoying comedy again and was just like, oh, I can write whatever I want and it doesn't have to link to anything. I found myself like I would start going to the Comedy Store a half hour before my set just so that I could watch people, just because not only was I loving it, I was sometimes disagreeing with him. And then I was like, oh, that helps me write a joke because I'm not stealing their joke. I'm disagreeing with them, which is giving me my own premise, you know?
Oh, I've done that a few times myself too. That's interesting that you say that. I've watched, I'm not going to say the person's name, but I've watched somebody, you know, especially during the Me Too movement stuff. If I watch, I sometimes I just fundamentally disagree with like a person's point of view, and I find it and sometimes I'm this is how I talk to myself. That's fucking ridiculous. What are you talking about? And then that makes me go, well, this is how I feel like this subject should be talked about, and I go, oh, well, that's my own point of view. That's my perspective. So let me get it out there. So we can't be inspired by each other.
Yes.
You know,
yeah, I mean, I'll give straight examples. Like, I think one of the best comedy writers, best comedians that we both know, Neil Brennan, right? Like, he's so fucking funny, he's such a sharp writer. But 90% of the time, I fucking disagree with his statements. Like, I completely am on the opposite side of him. And so, like, one time I went and saw him at the store talking about how he hates monogamy and how he hates, like, he would never want to have a baby and stuff. And so then I started just doing these bits about how monogamy is fucking awesome and how, why wouldn't you want to have a baby? Especially, I mean, at the time, I did it directly after him, so I was talking shit to him. And I was like, man, you're rich. You're white. It would be easy mode for you to have a baby. You wouldn't even have to fucking be there half the time.
yeah.
Like, I had a son when I was fucking 20. You telling me you can't do it? So it's like shit like that then spurs my creativity to go the opposite way. And I think that's a lot of fun. And I mean, and a lot of times I just love people's fucking comedy. Again, I love Andrew Santino, seeing him perform. I love watching you perform. I remember like a couple months before this went down, I saw you do this set and I think I came up and told you and I was just like, man, that was the smoothest, the fucking like the best I've ever seen you.
Because I was talking about my mom's dementia and all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
it was personal. And yeah, I get you. I remember that too. I remember that because those are the kind of moments that like when another comic says something like that to you, it's like, you know, that they actually watched. Because the problem that happens is like we just don't watch each other, you know? We don't, and what I mean is not just watch, but listen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't do that because a lot of times as a comic, you're in the back of the room and you're watching the whole process.
Yeah, so you're waiting for the pop. You're seeing how where the pop comes, how quickly it comes, and how the rhythm is. You're not listening to the content.
Right. You're going like, oh, this crowd's into it, or like, they're killing, and you might just go, they're killing because of this or that or that. You know what I mean? We got to get out of our heads. And so, but when someone like yourself comes up and says the way you said it, I was like, oh, that he really meant that. I mean, when I started doing that material about my mom, it was like what I enjoyed is like I'd be watching crowds and there'll be like a sporadic number of people would be crying.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that seems strange, but that meant to me that, oh, I'm connecting.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, especially because, you know, I do most of my material is personal. A lot of it's about my son and relationships. And that's when I started. I think a lot of it came from acting, too, an acting class of like, oh, there isn't just a power of getting a big laugh. There's a big power in making people listen. There's a big power in making people just quiet. And there's a huge power, like when you connect so much that you make them cry. Like that, to me, that's amazing comedy. That's Pixar shit, you know?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. Ha! It's funny you say that. Yeah, that's Up.
Yeah,
I'm trying to have an upset every time now. You know what I mean? So I totally agree. But listen, man, I don't want to keep you too much longer. Like it's like we've been over an hour already, and I appreciate you, taking the time during these crazy times. You know, and it's like, you know, it's just like I wanted you to be here, sitting in my other chair, getting on the singing mic.
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff
too,
that I do.
Me too.
You know, and it's just like we're trying to do the best we can, but you know, so and I say that to everybody out there too. It's like, you know, just keep your head up. We're all feeling something, and it's actually okay to feel whatever you're feeling. You know, it's like you're not wrong. Like if you have a day of being depressed, that ain't wrong.
No, not at all. And a lot of people, like, especially a lot of men, you know, they look at that as weakness to feel your feelings. But man, if you're not feeling something during this time, something's wrong. Something's wrong with you.
Right.
This is different. This is new. This is weird, and you should not be used to it. So if you're feeling, like I said, I was feeling great 3 days ago, and then I had to tell myself straight up, tell my fiance, I was like, look, baby, I'm depressed today. I just gotta let you know in case you see me acting a little down. I'm just down today, and that's okay. That's fine. And there's a strength in being willing to say that, man. And I can't wait to come back and sit there with you. But even cooler than that is like, you know, we always just talking shit and doing regular conversations, and this kind of gave us a time to have like a different, like deeper conversation.
Yes, which I appreciate. I know exactly what you're saying. That's what I love about doing podcasts, is like talking to someone like yourself. We see each other all the time, but we've never sat down and talked for an hour.
Never.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and I know I like that, and I appreciate you doing that. And also I just want to jump on what you just said too, because I think it's so important. Talk to the people around you and let them know how you're feeling. Because personal example is like, I've been cooking for my girl because she still goes to work. So I've been cooking for her when she comes back. But sometimes I get a little antsy in the kitchen, and she's just like, you don't want me in there. And I just go, no. I'm depressed and I need to feel useful. So I want to do this for you. I don't want you to be a part of this because I want to cook for you. I want to have it ready because I need to feel like I did something. And that's helping with my depression. But how would she know that?
Yes.
You know? Like, how would she know? So I had to tell her. And then she can frame herself into being like, oh, okay, well, this is his moment to do this. And I don't need to feel bad about it. I don't need to take things personal.
She's thinking that I want to come help you. I want to be a part of this. I don't want you to feel that just because I was working today and you weren't, that you got to cook for me. You know?
Right. And so it's like, that's why it's important to have that real, to communicate when you're feeling a certain way. I think it's super important to do that. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing that. I'm glad to hear that, you're doing the couples therapy, because it's like, it's a sign of like truly trying to make sure it works. It's like putting the plaster on that thing and making sure it's solid and it looks great. So
yeah,
I congratulate you on that, man.
I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I just I was married before. I was married when I was 20 years old for about 7 years, and I just knew I was carrying a lot of that past with me. And this girl's special, and she's wonderful, and I know that I don't want to get married a third time unless she dies. But
yeah, it's funny. There's one caveat. I'm not gonna get married again. Well, she dies. I
don't want to hold myself to that. I might be looking real good in my 50s,
All your baggage is gone too. You worked on it.
Yes, I don't want to hold myself to that.
Yeah. I can't waste this good me.
But the point is, I wanted to make sure we give this relationship every shot, and that I don't end it or do something weird that's not because of us. Like a good advice I got recently from rapper Bun B was coming on my podcast. Check out my podcast, Gettin Better. Erik, you gotta come on when we have another conversation like this.
Yeah. Let's do it.
He was telling me a lot about just like learning to relax in your relationship, learning to just provide peace of mind for your lady, not worry so much about providing monetarily, but to provide peace. And that's something I'm really, really trying to do, and just trying to be mature and a grown man and not be chasing hoes in my 40s,
No, I totally understand what you're saying, and I think that one of the keys to like really good communication, because I started reading these communication books, and it's like one of the real keys is like is finding out what the other person wants and needs. What makes the other person you're talking to happy? Because when you find that out, then you'll be able to find out, well, how can I get what I want once I've learned what this person wants? How can we manage that? But just having that is so important, because like you say, we might think providing a place, money, and all this kind of stuff, that's not, if they just want attention, if it's just, then that's cheaper. You know what I mean? it's actually easier. It's more cost effective.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just finding out. You might realize that the way you're going about something is probably not. It's not the most productive way all the time. So it's like finding out what is the collective need.
Yeah, I've been with my girl 2 years. She never once asked for no Gucci bag. She never want no Chanel bag, no nothing. She always wants to spend more time together, you know?
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. But anyways, look, this is Ron Funches, and you have your Quibi show. What's it called?
Quibi show, nice ones coming out June 8th. They got a free 14-day trial because, like we talked about, maybe you don't want to add another streaming service. So just
wait. Don't get Quibi till June
8th. Get it that day. Watch my show. Watch all of Reno 911, and then unsubscribe.
So you're on that, and you have your own podcast, and you name of your podcast.
It's Gettin Better with Ron Funches. We just talk to people who I love and enjoy, or people I've always wanted to talk to, and we just talk about getting better at their craft, at their life, at their art. And it's, comedy a lot, but it's also, again, I've had like Stone Cold Steve Austin on. I have Bun B on an upcoming episode. It's just anyone who I kind of admire, and I just trying to ask how they got to where they are and where they're trying to go next,
I love it. Yeah, I've seen it. I've actually watched a few of your episodes. I like it a lot. So yeah, well, there you go. So stay safe out there, man. I wish you all the best. I'm glad, like I say, I really admire how you're working on your relationship, and because I feel myself doing the same thing. So I like to see that someone else, one of my peers, and one of my colleagues, like, oh, they're going through the same thing. So I like that. It makes me. It actually gives me some peace today. So you know what I mean. So I do appreciate you coming on, and I will talk to you soon. And thanks for being on Riffin with Griffin.
Always riffing with Griffin.
Whoa. All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. I'll just text you or something, and we can set up a date, get you on my cast. I'd love to have you on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
All right, man. Talk soon.
Later.